Hey guys, this is Vic from Plate.to.paper. In today's tutorial, we'll be painting Strawberry Shortcake. This exercise and the materials I'll be referencing come from the 2nd edition Watercolor Art Kit that I released with Mossery, and the link is in the description if you want to check it out. Let's start with the color mixes. For the whipped cream, a cool grey with neutral tint and Chinese white. Also a warm grey by adding white and yellow ochre. For some shadows and outlines, I'm mixing white, neutral tint and vermilion. For the cake base, lemon yellow and permanent yellow. Going darker by adding some yellow ochre. And for the outlines, yellow ochre and burnt sienna. For the strawberries, I mix opera pink and vermilion for the base. Dilute it for the first wash. For shading and outlines, I add ultramarine to the red and pink. Now we have our basic color palette, so let's start painting. Starting here with the whipped cream. I'm leaving the brightest parts unpainted and using my warm grey to start adding values. I use the first yellow mix and fill in the cake layers. With the second layer, I start adding in texture to the crumb. Here, I'm starting with a clean water wash on the strawberry before adding some red to the edge and the base. When that's dry, I paint in some lines radiating from the core, then fill in the sections, leaving a line between them. I go back with darker red to deepen the colours and add detail to the core. For the whole berry, I start by painting in the seed beds with a concentrated red. Then I apply a lighter wash to fill the shape, leaving some white bits unpainted. After it's dry, I go back in with darker red to paint in the seed beds once more. Leave it to dry a little, then apply a thick mix of white and yellow for the seeds. Back with warmer grey on the cream to give it more volume. I add cooler grey for some variation and add more details to the cream layer. Brushing in more texture to the cake crumb. Compared to something like a sandwich bread, I paint cake with a more dappled texture. Here, I'm using my watercolor pencil for some light outlines and definition. With my darkest red, I paint in some dashed strokes to the upper edge of the cut strawberries. Back with cool grey on the cream. This round is really about defining the shapes and really bringing out the edges and crevices in those shapes. I then paint in some light outlines to the outer border. More details to the cake crumb here. I want to increase the saturation of the cake layer, so I'm going over the area again with a deeper yellow glaze. I use my browns to add that final touch to the base and to the texture of the cake. We're on the final stretch. I'm adding some dark red to increase the contrast of the fruits, and lightly apply some foam shadows to the seeds. Remember the grey-red that we mixed up? I'm adding a little to the base of the strawberry where its colour is reflected in the shadow. I continue adding shadows where needed. Dotting in some highlights here with the white. Lastly, taking some diluted grey and softening any details here which I think are too sharp. And we're done! Our strawberry shortcake is complete. If you're interested in a more in-depth strawberry tutorial, you can watch it on my channel. Leave a like or a comment if you found this one useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye!